I wanted my money back. I was very disappointed.
They are pretending like Rachel Zegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film.
Rachel Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infertility is the only global solution.
Bill Maher, simply Rachel Zegler, was destroyed for destroying Snow White from Disney with her woke outbursts and haughty conduct.
The Snow White version is woke and feminist and progressive.
She trashed without any trouble. A well-liked classic and swapping it out for lectures that no one requested.
They're leaning into woke. Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
Ziegler's absurd strategies that transformed into a fairy tale, into a comprehensive and all-encompassing humiliation.
So she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
Of course, like with everything on the left these days, they just take it too far.
Maher. Bill referred to it as the precise $200 million skip fire. And prior to you believe it's overstated, cling on to your seat because it becomes even more favorable. Bill, in the most brutal manner imaginable, Lord Farquaad and Rachel Zegler were compared. From Shrek.
They are pretending like Rachel Zegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film.
Yes, she is not a princess or Snow White. However, the obnoxious little antagonist from a cartoon for kids, and to be honest, he wasn't incorrect. You can't unsee it once you've seen it. Zegler tries to lecture while strutting about people that our feminists look just like Disney cosplayer Lord Farquaad princess.
It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes a little bit more sense.
You can gaslight people so easily.
Yes.
The new Disney boss babe, who is Rachel Zegler, the inverse of happy.
Now, when you believed it couldn't get, what could be worse than Snow White 2025? Fallen to a completely disgusting level. IMDb gave you a score of 2.2 out of 10. Essentially need to attempt to fail that you could make a movie if you wanted to. With sock puppets, it would more likely rate greater.
If you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
Place this Disney believed they could ride. They were bringing nostalgia to the bank, assuming an opening of $150 million weekend, but they were hit hard by reality. Face, since they were scarcely able to scrounge up an embarrassing $43 millions of dollars domestically. That's not a complete financial disaster. Not only the film, but the obituary was the conceited little Rachel Zegler attitude that made everything shine. She converted admirers who merely desired a bit of magic, and nostalgia turned into a furious crowd sprinting in the other direction.
So the two stars hate each other.
Now, I'm guessing that she's not married. I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
Speaking of Zegler's good conduct, let us discuss the meltdown that she was formally crowned. The box office poison that was fed a nutritious meal of Tick Rachel, a TOC activist, determined that the first task would be to destroy the 1937 U. Are familiar with the Snow White classic? Yes, it's loved by all. She described it as strange and out of date in 2022.
Snow White gets her name, not from the fairness of her skin, as we obviously know. She gets her name from surviving a snowstorm.
Since it was obvious that the world needed Rachel. Zegler is an expert TikTok screecher. Tell us about the fairy stories we were told as children, are now offensive. Thank you for that. She declared with pride that the new Snow White would no longer dream about love.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
No, she's imagining herself as a boss since nothing says happy. Like a workshop run by a girl boss without a prince, charm, or enjoyment.
So apparently, according to them and according to the writers of Snow White, women can't even want to be in love anymore.
Additionally, Rachel is unable to assist. In 2024, she completely lost it. Sharing a number of elegant, tiny treasures, FT Trump, for example, and telling half the nation she wishes they would never learn about tranquilly, truly endearing.
President Rachel Zegler also posted, F Trump kinds of posts on social media. She also said that she hoped that Trump supporters, quote, never know peace.
Because when you play the lead in a film that is intended for children and families, leaving is the wisest course of action. On a political tirade in public, half of America largely ignored her. Immediately.
I sat through the whole thing. This was really bad. It was extremely leftist on every political dimension: racial politics, sexual politics, class politics, regime politics. Its narrative was cowardly. It was just awful.
Additionally, when people began criticizing her, what she did was pull out the no one believed the world's most phony apologies. It was as sincere in its emotions as a robot reading a court order assertion.
The movie is doing catastrophically. They spent $300 million and it currently has a 2.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
Megyn Kelly had even enough. She told Disney directly to terminate this brat. And Frank, where's the how can you allow someone to lie? Wet Sponge's emotional intelligence serve as the spokesperson for a multi-million-dollar Disney must have been overly busy. Establishing additional princess dress stores for adults in the park to observe the disaster developing directly beneath their noses. Let's move on to the ultimate joke of the story's treatment by Disney, in case you missed the memo about romance, formerly prohibited in Disney's New World.
Every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
Megyn Kelly had even enough. She told Disney directly to terminate this brat. And Frank, where's the how can you allow someone to lie? Wet Sponge's emotional intelligence serve as the spokesperson for a multi-million-dollar Disney must have been overly busy. Establishing additional princess dress stores for adults in the park to observe the disaster developing directly beneath their noses. Let's move on to the ultimate joke of the story's treatment by Disney, in case you missed the memo about romance, formerly prohibited in Disney's New World.